A few days ago, Death Battle had just announced their episode 200, that being Ruby Rose from the series Ruby versus Maka Albarn from the anime Soul Eater. Now, this is episode 200, which means it's a very special episode, but the thing about this matchup is, it is not quite as big as something like Goku versus Superman or Mario versus Sonic. So, this raises the question, why did Death Battle choose this as their episode 200? Now, the answer lies in the name of one man, that man being Monty Ohm. Let's take it back to 2007. 2007 was the release of Monty Ohm's breakout animation, Haloid. It was a fight animation featuring Samus Aran from the Metroid series and Master Chief from the Halo series. This episode actually predates the first episode of Death Battle by 3 years. So in some way, Monty Ohm is a pioneer of the crossover versus animation genre, a bit popular on YouTube now. His best work would come in 2013 with the release of the Ruby Red trailer, which began a pretty popular series by internet animation standards. Ruby garnered millions of views and is one of Rooster Teeth's biggest IPs, alongside Red vs. Blue and Death Battle itself. Unfortunately, Monty Ohm would not be able to see the peak of his work's popularity, as he would pass away in 2015 due to an allergic reaction. Monty Ohm's death was devastating for many. He was a husband, he was a co-worker, he was a boss, he was a friend, he was an inspiration. Monty Ohm left an impact in his short life. And among the people impacted by him was the Death Battle crew. Also in 2015 was the release of Boba Fett vs. Samus, the remastered version. And as you can see from both the intro, the actual animation, and the outro, this was very much a tribute to Monty Ohm, expressing how impactful he was to the crew behind the scenes. It is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated Death Battle episodes. I highly recommend watching it or rewatching it if you haven't seen it in a while. And now some of you might be asking, what does this have to do with episode 200? Well, that brings me to Ruby vs. Maka, the matchup. This was a matchup that was confirmed all the way back in 2016 at a convention.
Well, I can't spoil anything, obviously, but Monty Ohm and I had talked about, because he really wanted Ruby and Death Battle, right? And we had talked about potential matchups. And one of them, the one that he really wanted, was Ruby versus Maka from Soul Eater. Is that the right name? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Good. It's been a little while since I looked at Soul Eater. And we were looking into that, but unfortunately there's no really good 3D model of Maka for us to use, so we're going to have to figure something out before we do that. But we do want to do that.
Someday we will do that, because Monty Ohm was a big inspiration for the show, and that was.
It is pretty clear that Monty Ohm was influenced by Maka Albarn when creating Ruby, especially since he himself came up with the matchup. The inspiration is there, the similarities are apparent. So, with all of that in mind, we have Maka Albarn, a character who inspired Monty Ohm to create his biggest work yet, fighting Monty Ohm's biggest work in the show that Monty Ohm himself inspired or mentored. In my opinion, that is definitely an episode worthy of being in the 200 spot, and I am looking forward to seeing it. For many, the waiting period has just started, but for me, the wait is over. I thought this would happen back in Season 8 because that was the 10th year anniversary special. I thought it would happen in Season 10 because that's a milestone. Instead, it happens in episode 200, a spot grander than any of those, a spot I never expected it to take up, but honestly, a spot that I think it deserves.